Today we have Lori Brissette from Northwestern Mutual. Lori leads customer experience strategy for Northwestern Mutual. So Lori, before we begin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I lead, I'm Senior Vice President of Client Advocacy Services and Policy Benefits, which is basically the servicing arm for our in-force products to our field and our clients. And I am president of Northwestern Mutual Investment Services, which is our broker-dealer for investments.
Oh, fantastic. So, one of the biggest trends impacting the insurance industry over the past couple of years is consumerism and really changing the way insurance companies think about how they sell and service policyholders. So maybe what you can do is explain to us, what is customer experience and how should an insurance carrier view it?
Yeah, so customer experience absolutely today is table stakes. I think it's more than just what customer experience is, it's really what is a great client experience. And the way we're looking at it is that a really great client experience absolutely changes the relationship the client has with the company. It changes how a client feels and what they do and how they act. And I think it comes from a really understanding what a client is really feeling and thinking in the moment, and putting yourselves in their shoes. And I think it really comes from client research and design thinking. Client research is really about what the client wants. Design thinking is about what the client needs, and kind of having those two things come together. And then ultimately, a great client experience really delivers on a business outcome, a business value. If you don't change the way a client feels about the company, or if you do, you're going to necessarily drive greater client loyalty and deeper relationships, and that will transfer to revenue. So it's a absolutely table stakes today.
So what's been the main driver of the customer experience trend?
I think two for us. I think for everybody, it's the competitive environment. So, and that's no longer just the companies in your industry. You got to get out of your silo of the industry that you work in. I think that's crucial. But the digital environment that clients are interacting with every company is changing their expectations. And so regardless of what industry you're in, it's the client, it's the competitive environment. But also for us, it's a client need. So at Northwestern Mutual, we truly believe that if we want clients to achieve financial security, the more they do with our company, the better. And so if we can create client experiences that really drive them to want to do more for themselves, and to achieve their financial security, that we are serving our mission. So the main driver of us becoming more client-centric is to have better client outcomes.
That makes sense. We've talked about the policyholder. Is creating a strong customer experience focused only on the policyholder, or does it also impact your captive agency force?
Absolutely both. We've had a lot of conversations about who is the client. And originally, I think we were thinking it was either or, but we're really come to the conclusion that it's got to be both. So for the client, we want to build that end-to-end integrated experience that drives them through pre-client to onboarding to relationship building and loyalty. But for the advisors, it is just as critical to give them the tools and systems experiences they need to run their business effectively and efficiently, so that their focus can be on the client and not on the tools or the friction of the experience.
That makes sense. So what companies do you admire outside of insurance that do customer experience well?
I think Apple obviously sets the stage. From the first time you walk into a store and you can talk to a genius and not only pick what you want, but pay right and with a device in their hand, to everything you get from an Apple device. I mean, even their packaging is an experience, right? But going past the masters, I think it's interesting that we've moved from looking at customer-focused companies to customer-centric companies, and now to customer-obsessed companies, right? The ones I think of are things like Chick-fil-A, Southwest, and Uber. And notably, I'm not picking ones that are just solely digital. And I deliberately serve up those examples because I think it's so easy to get lost in the idea that great client experience is just about the digital experience. Clearly, Apple knows that's not the case. Walk into any store and you see the power of the person. But I often use Uber as an example. So, Uber came in and completely revolutionized the taxi cab industry with that front end digital experience that lets you know where somebody is, how long it's going to be till they get there, what the ride is going to cost. But if once the car gets to you, the car's dirty, the driver's smelly, and they get you lost, it doesn't matter what that digital experience was. So I think it's those companies that understand it has to start on the glass, but you've got to get that experience right all the way through every interaction the customer has.
That makes sense. So Lori, I think commonly insurance is thought of as a set it and forget it policy. The only two times you think about your insurance policy is when you pay your premium or when you have a claim. What is Northwestern doing in between those two events to impact customer experience?
Yeah, so I think we do have to start with that set it and forget it moment, because even the purchasing experience has become something that's absolutely being transformed. So we're definitely delivering on things like accelerated underwriting and electronic delivery of application all the way through the contract. And even before the planning, before the purchase experience, we are absolutely changing the planning experience to be something that is really a relationship driver. So it used to be the planning experience was a 2-hour meeting and it was a printout that somebody could take home. Now we're building something that is really a living, breathing relationship management system where we are tied in with the client's financial life as it changes and they mature. So the planning experience is huge for us. But also because our life insurance policy is what we kind of call it a Swiss Army knife of life products. It's a product that can really be used throughout your life, whether you want to use the cash value to buy a car, fund a new business, even take advantage of things like COVID-19 situations. Because of that, we know our service experience is actually part of the purpose of the product, right? So we say life happens between planning events. It's called service. So we have to make that something that absolutely serves the intent of the product, meets the client's expectations, and even delights them at a time when they need help. And then ultimately, obviously, the claim experience. But we believe the claim experience is not just the ultimate delivery of our promise. It's a way to encourage people that don't know about Northwestern Mutual and understand that they can honor the legacy left to them by making a meaningful choice about how to use the money that comes from a death claim and go into a planning experience and start it all over again with their relationship with Northwestern Mutual too. So it's a new client driver as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just looking at a whole life policy. And to be quite honest with you, the process was rather painful. I had significant questions that I wanted the agent to answer for me. Everything was done on paper, and it was always, I can get you that answer, but it would take another meeting. And to me, that was a horrible client experience and actually prevented me from buying that policy. Is Northwestern Mutual helping their agents through those types of situations?
Yeah. We are creating a proprietary planning tool. We're well into it, several years into it. And it is all about getting that upfront experience right to kick off the relationship, but do it in a way that, again, you're setting the foundation for a continuing relationship, a continuing conversation. We're doing it in-house too. We're turning development conversations from an annual event to an ongoing event. We're trying to do the same thing with our clients, that instead of an annual check-in, that planning experience should be the integrated, seamless experience they have within them every time they go on the app and check their status.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I read an article recently from PricewaterhouseCoopers about measuring the success of customer experience strategies. Are there certain metrics that you leverage to make sure that you are impacting those strategies and being impactful for the agent and the policyholder?
Yeah, so obviously we look at Net Promoter Score like most people do, but more and more we see those tend to be lagging, and fail to really give us the specific information we need to know whether our experiences are the right ones. But I absolutely agree that any business needs their experience work to deliver on business outcomes. So a great experience, like I said earlier, should change the client's behavior and lead to a deeper relationship. So you have to measure not just new clients, but things like retention, household revenue, and in the claim space, reinvestment of death claim proceeds. So we'll take the last one, for example. We pay we're close to $5 billion in claim proceeds a year. So in the past, we were focused on really driving a timely payment, doing the right thing. That's success, right? But while we paid out a lot of money, and while clients were really happy that they got a check, we didn't have the numbers that we believed that should come out of that experience choose to do business with NM. We weren't showing them what NM was all about. So we're changing that through an experience-led approach. And we're really trying to measure that with the number of beneficiaries who choose to reinvest some of those proceeds in a plan and in a product, and also assets under management that we see and reinvested as a result. But we really know that if we deliver the right experience, we won't just see more beneficiaries become clients using the funds we pay to them. We'll actually see them aggregate the other funds they have and deepen their relationship with the company.
Fantastic. So we're in a brave new world in the insurance industry now. I think there's been more change driven over the last 5 to 10 years than probably in the last 50 years. And that requires different skill sets. And I'm finding from my clients, we are looking for talent that comes from outside of the insurance industry. Can you unpack that a little bit? What type of talent are you looking for that helps impact customer experience strategies?
Yeah, so not only is our focus on client experience changing our talent strategy, but COVID-19 is too, right? Mm-hmm. From an experience perspective, we've made a tremendous leadership split over the last few years. Our leaders have to lead in a different way in order to have our teams make different decisions and drive different work. So as a result, over the last few years, we've brought in senior leaders from startups, as well as from companies like Google, Alibaba, Microsoft, Amazon. We think it's absolutely critical to have a real good mix of deep historical industry knowledge and new thinking and new behaviors. And I think we've made that shift, and it's precisely because we focused on that mix of talent. And then from a COVID-19 perspective, we've gone remote so easily that we now understand that in the past we would have said, if you want to work with us, you need to be in Milwaukee or New York. Now we're saying we get to go where the talent is. So that'll really open it up.
So with this drive for new talent and having the ability to now look outside of New York and Milwaukee for talent into Silicon Valley, maybe you can address how Northwestern Mutual is leveraging data, technology, and AI to deliver personalized experiences that are more relevant for policyholders.
Yeah, so we continue to look for ways to personalize the experience and make it seamless and more engaging. And data, technology, and AI are obviously critical pieces of that. For example, in the contact centers, we're using it to not only allow us to have an experience where we clearly know our clients better when we're on the call with them, but also to serve up information to CSRs so that they understand what the client may need to think of next in terms of their financial goals, so we can start conversations and get them to the advisor for a deepening conversation. We're using things like speech analytics to continually improve not only the quality of service, but help drive individualized coaching specific to the kind of conversations that CSR is having. And as they build their proficiency, even to understand the challenges our clients are facing as they interact with us. So we use speech analytics to even understand more about the client experience. But as a 160-year-old company, we have tremendous amounts of data, right? But like other legacy companies, we also have a huge endeavor when it comes to being able to effectively use it. We have a lot of data trapped in paper and images that we're really focused on pulling out. And if we can unlock that, then we can certainly be more proactive and personalized. So we are dead set on that. But finally, I think the best place we've used it so far is in the purchasing experience. In order to move to accelerated underwriting and move people to an approval without blood and urine, we are looking to not only historical data, but advanced analytics and predictive models, and using data even beyond the application and medical information to hopefully get them to the answer faster. And through that, we have reduced our underwriting time for a significant percentage of our applications from 28 days to 1.
Wow.
So I think we're using it both in the purchase and service experience.
That's amazing. So if you could take out your crystal ball and look at the insurance industry over the next 10 years, what do you think that looks like?
I think that if insurance companies do it right, there will not maybe be daily relevance, but more relevance in the life of the consumer. It won't be a set it and forget it experience. Insurance companies, I think, will be playing more of an ongoing advisory role for their companies if they're doing it right. You think of John Hancock with Vitality is kind of doing that in the health space, right? USAA has the app experience where you can see everything you do with them. And if you're a full-blown customer, you probably have your whole life there. And with us, we're turning that planning experience into it. We don't want to be the set it and forget it industry. We want to be there when you don't even know you need us yet to avoid that bad situation.
So I think that leads to the question about the InsurTech space. And you mentioned John Hancock and their acquisition of Vitality. I think InsurTechs have gone from they're taking over the insurance industry to realizing that they're better off partnering with legacy carriers. Are you doing those types of investment for Northwestern Mutual?
Yeah, we actually just announced Northwestern Mutual Future Ventures. It's a $200 million venture capital fund, and it focuses on engaging startups whose technologies have potential to transform how consumers experience and achieve financial security. 20 million of that is devoted to female-founded startups because we have a significant focus on diversity. But since launching that originally in 2017, we've made more than 15 investments to gain insights from partners to help us evolve our business. And I think that's a significant commitment to ongoing innovation through relationships with startups.
Lori, this was a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.